get this uncontrollable urge, you're going to eat 12 donuts, you're going to eat an entire bag of chips. What is up, YouTube? Today, we're going to be discussing the anabolic diet, the circle diet, the high volume food diet, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be discussing it. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this video if it gets a lot of views because people are, religious followers of the diet. And in my opinion, it's just another fad diet. It's not different than other fad diets. They aren't sustainable long term. When you go off the diet for a little while, you might gain weight, right? So this is not sustainable. And I'm going to go over my reasons why it's not sustainable and why it might not be the best diet. And if you have your opinions, leave them in the comments below. So specifically, the diet we're talking about is the one that Greg Doucette and Remington James are big proponents of, that they promote, that they sell cookbooks for. And to start off with, it's not good for people with binge eating disorders. Now, I've seen most of the time Greg Doucette likes to market it at people with binge eating disorders, right? He says, oh, instead of binging on candy, instead of binging on chocolate bars, binge on popcorn, binge on vegetables, binge on salad, whatever, you know what I mean? But is this healthy? No. If you have a binge eating disorder and you're solving the problem by eating a shit ton of popcorn, it's still abnormal. It's not normal that you have uncontrollable bouts of eating. This is not normal behavior that most human beings exhibit. Therefore, all you've done is caused yourself not to gain weight, right? So you put a mask over your problem. That's all this diet does for binge eaters. It masks the problem. So now your friends and family aren't going to think you have a binge eating disorder anymore because you've lost weight. Maybe you're maintaining your weight. You don't look like you're binge eating. So you get away with having a disorder because other people don't realize it. And then you justify binge eating because you're not gaining weight. But you still have this mental problem that you need to solve. And it's not going to be solved by binge eating popcorn. Because let's say what happens. Let's say you go on vacation, right? And you don't have popcorn to eat, right? And the only thing there is a bag of chips or donuts, and you get this uncontrollable urge, you're going to eat 12 donuts, you're going to eat an entire bag of chips, and it's because you haven't resolved your eating disorder. Now, my second point about why this diet isn't good is for people who have disordered eating in general. So this is people who don't eat like normal other people, they're very restrictive. I'm not talking about anorexia because that's like a whole nother topic, right? But I'm talking about people who just they have disordered eating, you know what I mean? Like they think way too much about food. They're overly restrictive with food. And this diet, just like any other diet, I'm not saying specifically this diet, but this diet does do something that other diets don't do, right? It gives the illusion to people around you that you're eating a lot of food. If somebody's on a keto diet, right, and they're losing a lot of weight, then people can automatically oh, that's why you're on a keto diet. That's why you look so bad, right? That's why you look so skeleton-like. But if you're eating a lot of food, to the people around you, it's like, oh, he's eating a lot. It must just be his metabolism, you know what I mean? He's healthy other than that. He doesn't have a problem. But in reality, you're eating a lot of volume, right? A lot of food, but you're not really eating a lot of calories. So to the people around you who might not know as much about nutrition as you're eating a lot and you're just losing weight because it's your metabolism. But in your own head, right, you have this restrictive mindset. You're constantly thinking about food. You can't just sometimes go off track. You got to always eat these kinds of foods. And then it's just not where you want to be, right? So I'm not saying that this diet promotes disordered eating. I don't want to pin that on Greg Doucette or Remington James because that would be unfair. But I am saying that for people with disordered eating, it is especially harmful more than the other diets. Because at least with the other diets, people can see that you have a problem immediately before it becomes too late. Now, for my third point about why this diet is so bad, it's kind of similar to the other points. It's not normal to eat insane portion sizes all the time. Okay, all the time. Eating 5 pound bowls of vegetables is not normal. I'm not saying you should not eat vegetables. You absolutely should eat vegetables, especially vegetables that are high in micronutrients like broccoli, right? Kale, things like this that are high in micronutrients. But if you're just eating vegetables to feel full and eat a bunch of vegetables, there's something wrong there, right? There's something wrong there. You need to fix that problem. You need to fix the problem that you need to like eat so much food just to feel full, right? And it's not good. It's just not a healthy thing. Most people don't eat 6 pound bowls of food. Most people don't eat an entire bag of popcorn that's meant to be shared. They don't do it. Why? Because it's not normal. And people are going to say, oh, most people are overweight. Yeah, you're right, most people are overweight. But it's not because they don't eat 6 pound bowls of food. It's because they don't know anything about nutrition whatsoever. And I'm not saying you shouldn't eat 6 pound bowls of food, okay? Maybe once a day, maybe when you need it, when you're really hungry, it's okay. But it's not supposed to be every meal is like your stomach's overly packed with food. Like that is not healthy. And then this also leads to an expanded stomach. So now, as you continually eat more and more of these voluminous foods, right, you end up having your stomach stretch. So you need even more food to fill the stomach. Now, this is extremely problematic because, again, let's go back to, let's say you go on vacation. Let's say you go somewhere where they don't have all this voluminous food. It's not in your kitchen. You can't go to the back of the restaurant and make a 5 pound bowl of salad. You're getting a regular portion that normal people eat, but you're not going to be as full anymore. Why you're not going to be as full anymore? Well, because you've gotten so used to eating these insane amounts of food that now eating a regular amount of food is going to make you hungry. You might be hungrier after the meal than when you ate the meal because you're not eating normally. It's just crazy. It's crazy to me that why would you want to intentionally expand your stomach? I understand when people accidentally become overweight and they accidentally expand their stomach. It's problem, right? Then I can understand. But if you are starting off normal weight, you don't want to get into this. Let's say even if you're cutting, right? Let's say you're cutting for a bodybuilding show, and that's the only reason you should be going below like 10%. Like if you're going below 10%, it's because you're cutting for a bodybuilding show. Because otherwise, if you're natural, it's just terrible for your hormones. But anyway, not to go off on a tangent, but like then what happens? Now when you cut, you need so much food. It's just not normal. It's absolutely not normal. Now for my fourth point, and it has to do with the types of food, right? It's horrible for your digestion. Eating insane amounts of food, especially vegetables that are super high in fiber, adding stuff like VitaFiber, like this diet, it's like a world of fiber. Fiber is great. I'm not gonna tell you it's not. It helps you go to the bathroom. It helps keep you full. But having so much fiber, like I'm talking in the 100 grams of fiber range, this is gonna make your digestion terrible. You're gonna be farting all the time. You're gonna be shitting all the time. You're gonna be just a fucking mess in your stomach, right? And if you want to know why I know this, because I know from experience, because I did this. And people around you aren't going to be too happy when you're always farting and you're always smelling like crap, okay? It's disgusting. Not only this, but if you're not digesting your food properly, how are you properly shuttling nutrients to your muscles? How? It's not possible. There is a reason bodybuilders eat certain types of food. I'm not saying to be restrictive like a bodybuilder, but I'm saying if you want your digestion to be optimized, you need to eat foods that, first of all, agree with you, because not all foods agree with everybody. And second of all, eat foods that people know are going to digest. Like a bodybuilder eats chicken, rice, and broccoli because, well, I don't actually know why. like that specific combo, but foods like this because it doesn't stay in their system too long, right? I understand people are going to say satiation. Maybe you add a little more broccoli, a little more chicken for satiation. But at least you're not going to have a bloated stomach for hours, right? And guess what? The bloated stomach doesn't mean that you're going to be full in your mind. Because mentally, this diet doesn't make you full. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. So it's because they don't have a lot of fat in the diet. There is not a lot of fat in the diet. And so maybe your stomach feels full, like you can't eat anything else, but you're not getting signals to your brain. Fat is very satiating. I'm not saying to eat a lot of fat. I'm saying to eat enough fat so that your hormones can function properly, right? So that you can feel full also. Because if you're not eating enough dietary fat, your steroid hormones like testosterone, estrogen, they all have a fat component of it, right? So if you're not eating enough fat, it's going to be much harder to produce these steroids at the rate that you need, at the rate that's normal, okay? And also, talking about fat, if you're not eating enough fat in your diet, right, then the vegetables you're eating are basically negligent. It doesn't matter. It only matters for calories. You should be eating vegetables also for the micronutrient content, right? Vegetables are extremely dense with micronutrients. And if you're not eating enough fat, let's say you eat a shit ton of broccoli at a meal, but you have no fat with it, you're not going to absorb most of the vitamins in that broccoli. Why? Because there's a bunch of fat soluble vitamins. You need the fat to shuttle the micronutrients into your cells, okay? It can't go in by itself. Now, for my next point is that, you can use this diet, right? I'm not going to demonize the diet entirely, but let's not pretend like it's any better than other fad diets. It's not. It's the same thing as other fad diets. You can't go everywhere your entire life if you're not home and find a 6-pound bowl of vegetables, or an entire bowl of popcorn, or an entire freaking roll of French toast, right? You can't find this stuff anywhere except your house and maybe other people who follow the similar diet. That's it. So what's going to happen when you have to go off this diet? You're going to have problems staying full. I'm not going to say you're not going to be able to sustain your weight loss or your weight gain or whatever it is that you did with the diet. But you're going to have problems maintaining whatever goal you got to, or continuing for a goal. It's just like keto, right? Not everywhere you go is going to have only fat things for you to eat, okay? And guess what? If it works for you, that's fine. There's people that eat keto and they love it and it works for them, and whatever, go ahead. But I'm saying that we can't pretend like this is not a fad diet. It absolutely is. This is not balance, okay? Balance is maybe I'm going to eat some of these meals, but the majority of the time I'm going to eat regular sized meals because that's what normal people do. You have to train yourself, right? If you feel that you're not full of normal portion sizes, then maybe you're not eating enough fat. Maybe you need to train yourself that this is normal and this is what you should eat. That's what I had to do, because it wasn't normal when I would sit down and my family would look at my food like, what the heck is he eating? Like, this is weird. Like, that's a lot of garbage on his plate. Like, again, I'm not saying to eat like the normal American. You should not be eating burgers and fries all the time. Every once in a while is fine. You should be eating your vegetables. You should be eating your protein, lean protein, but you need your fat, right? You need to start eating more normally. Like, if you want to compare it, don't compare it to a normal American. How about you compare it to like a Japanese person? Like, what kind of meal they eat. They have their rice, their vegetables, but it's normal portions. And that's what I want to stress about this. Again, please keep following the diet if it works for you and you don't feel like you're restricting yourself. But if you feel like you're restricting yourself on any diet, then it's probably not a good diet. If you liked the video, please leave a like on the video. Please think about subscribing. Please leave your comments down below. I had an eating disorder at one time, and that's why I made this video. right? And I know what eating disorders entail, and it's not fun. And so I would like to get your opinion on it. If you had an eating disorder, share your story down below. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.